for a daily dose of ASMR triggers. And well, for today, let's talk about stats and facts about the most evil dictators from Americas. Yes, you guess it. It's about mostly dictators from Latin American countries. Let's see who was the most powerful, the most evil, and of course, what drove them to rule as dictators. Well, I have here a list, and I'm gonna start first with Rafael Trujillo. Rafael Trujillo. He ruled as a dictator in the Dominican Republic between 1930 and 1961. He ruled for 31 years, and Rafael Trujillo was responsible for 50,000 deaths. Facts. The cult of personality, something that we're gonna encounter and discover at each in our list. Another trait was harsh suppression of dissent and economic growth, but at cost of extreme oppression. Extreme oppression. He rose to power after a military coup, then one rigged the election. He ended assassinated in 1961 by his own military officers. Good. That was about Rafael Trujillo. Next in the list, Augusto Pinochet. Augusto Pinochet. Some stats. Over 3,000 people killed by his direct orders and 40,000 tortured. Well, Augusto Pinochet ruled as a dictator in Chile between 1973 and 1990s. Facts. Led a US-backed coup against Salvador Allende, and he implemented neoliberal reforms. He ruled under military dictatorship. He rose to power from a military coup in 1973 with CIA support. He stepped down in 1990, arrested in 1998, but never fully prosecuted. He died in 2006. Next, the third in our list is Anastasio Somoza Debayle. Anastasio Somoza Debayle, Nicaragua between 1967 and 1979. Well, stats. Over 50,000 deaths during his rule by his direct commandship. He led a corrupt, brutal regime with US backing, is known for his severe oppression and obsession for killing people. He rose to power, took over after his father's assassination, consolidating power through military control. How he ended? Well, Anastasio Somoza Debayle was overthrown by Sandinista Revolution in 1979 and was assassinated in exile in 1980. Good. Next in our list is Jorge Rafael Videla. Jorge Rafael Videla, Argentina, 1976 to 1981. Well, over the stats, over 30,000 people not killed, just disappeared. Well, nothing left about them during the Dirty War. He led a military junta. He was infamous for human rights abuse, including baby theft, who then transformed them in paramilitary units when they were trained and grew. Rise to power. Seized power in a military coup against Isabel Perón. So, he seized military power coup against Isabel Perón. He was arrested in 1983, sentenced to life, and died in 2013. Next, Fulgencio Batista. Fulgencio Batista, Cuba, 1952 to 1959. One of the major facts, he killed thousands and tortured tens of thousands. Ran Cuba like a mafia state, deeply corrupt, had US business backing. He rose to power in a coup in 1952, cancelling and frauding the elections. And at the end, he was overthrown by the next big dictator, Fidel Castro, in the 1959 revolution. He died in exile in Spain in 1973. So this was Fulgencio Batista, Cuba. Alright, well, next is, who else then? One of the most well-known dictators in Latin America, Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro. He ruled in Cuba between 1959 and 2008. Well, he ruled for 49 years, and it's estimated that he executed thousands of people, mass exiles, mostly opposites and dissidents. He led communist Cuba, and what is one of the most legendary facts about him is that he survived more than 600 assassination attempts and defied the US embargo. Rise to power. Well, Fidel Castro led the Cuban Revolution again, but against Batista, and he took power in 1959. He was stepped down due to an illness in 2008 and died in 2016. Right, okay, Next in the list is Manuel Noriega. Manuel Noriega, dictator who ruled Panama between 1983 and 1989. Well, he was involved in drug trafficking, corruption, and military suppression. CIA, a set-turned dictator involved with cartels and ruled with fear. It was a CIA asset or an agent, an overseas agent. Well, the rise to power, became head of the Panamanian military. Then he took control over the country in 1983. He was captured in 1989 during the US invasion of Panama and died in prison in 2017. Alright, that's my dog one. Well, next is Alfredo Stroessner. Alfredo Stroessner. He ruled in Paraguay between 1954 and 1989. He ruled for 35 years and killed thousands of people, and he exiled tens of thousands of dissidents and opposition members. Ran a one-party state, the supreme one-party Paraguay, and harbored Nazi fugitives. Rise to power, military coup in 1954, and his end was in 1989 when he was overthrown. He died in exile in Brazil in 2006. Alright. Efrain Rios Montt, Guatemala, 1982 to 1983. Wow, I think this one is the shortest dictator who run a Latin American country, but in just 1 year he killed 200,000 people in Guatemala's civil war, carried out genocide against indigenous Mayans, known for massacres. Rise to power by a military coup in 1982. It was overthrown in 1983, convicted to genocide in 2013, but the verdict was overturned and he died in 2018. Alright. Next, François Papadoc Duvalier. François Papadoc Duvalier, Haiti, 1957-1971. The fact says that he killed over 30,000 people and ruled for 14 years. What important highlight is that he used voodoo mysticism to control people, and he created a secret police under his direct control. Well, the rise to power is he won the election, then declared himself Presidente for life. So he won democratic election, but after that he declared himself president for cancelling any other further elections. He died in his office in 1971, and his son took over. Now his son is Jean-Claude Baby Doc Duvalier. He ran Haiti between 1971 and 1986. Well, his son continued his father's brutal rule and stole millions of money from Haiti treasury. He lived in luxury while Haiti remained impoverished, lost US support due to human rights abuses. Well, he rose to power by inherited rule from his father at 19 years old. When was 19 years old? 19 years old. And he was overthrown in 1986. Well, Jean-Claude Baby Doc fled to France, returned to Haiti 2011, and he tried again to take over the power, but died in 2014. What a kid. God. Alright, and next is Porfirio Diaz. Porfirio Diaz. Well, in Mexico, 1876 until 1911, he ruled for 35 years, increased wealth gap, and led the Mexican Revolution. Well, he modernized Mexico, but favored only elites and was harsh on poor and dissidents. He rose to power by seizing the power in 1876. Then he ruled as dictator and proclaimed himself as El Presidente, Dictator. He was overthrown in 1911 during the Mexican Revolution, and he died in France in 1915. Next, it's Victoriano Huerta, Mexico again, between 1913 and 1914. He ruled only for 17 months, and he assassinated all his opponents. Well, seized the power in a coup he was known as El Chacal, the Jackal, El Chacal. Overthrew the President Francisco Madero in 1913, and in 1914 he was overthrown, arrested, and died in US custody. Alright. Next, Nicolas Maduro, Venezuela. Years in power 2013 until present. He is a president of Venezuela, but he is accused as ruling as a dictator. Notable facts: widely accused for rigging elections, he suppressed the opposition and jailed his political rivals. And he is the one who led Venezuela into a severe economic crisis. Good. Well, now, because we're at the end, it's very easy after this list to identify some common things. Most of the dictators, they seized the power through military coups or rigged elections, but mostly military coups. Some of them had US backing at some point. Most ruled with torture, oppression, secret police, and suppression of the oppositions. I think this is recipe to be a dictator, mostly in that part of the world. And how they ended, well, the majority assassinated or died in exile or prisons. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Let's say a little bit controversial ASMR story or ASMR session, but I hope you enjoyed. And of course, I want to know your opinion, so let me know your opinion. Drop a few comments below, and of course, if I failed something, I missed something, please correct me. I'm very open to constructive comments and opinions. By the way, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I wish you all the best. shadows.